And as we find our way into the ground and spread our tissues into the floor, let's take a minute to see what gives in, what resists. And imagine that you have a midline. Is your nose on the midline? Or is your nose to the right of it or to the left of it? Imagine that your belly button is somewhere along that midline. Is it to the right of it? Is it right on it? Is it to the left of it? Going down to the midline, along the midline, how far is your right leg from the midline and how far is your left leg from the midline? How much of you is alive and taking space on the right side of the midline? And how alive are you and aware and taking space on the left side of the midline? And by taking a few minutes to become aware, we kind of relaxing our minds to also bring change into how much tonicity we hold on in one area or another, and how we use what we have. And I was thinking about working on the side today. So choose the side that you are more alive, more aware of. And roll on and lie down on that side. So I will not use right and left. We're going to start with the side that you felt like there is more aliveness to you in that side. And as you're lying down on that side, put one hand on top of the other. If you need to put a pillow underneath your head, go ahead and put a pillow underneath your head or roll your mat to elevate your head a little bit. Bend your knees slightly so you're comfortable. And start sliding your upper hand on top of the lower hand, palm on palm. Slide the top hand forward and back to the side. So if you were a pajama with stripes, and you're laying on one stripe, and you're rolling off that one stripe by bringing your hand, sliding it forward, and roll back onto the stripe as you bring palm on palm. So your hand is sliding and you are shoulder height, and you're sliding forward off the stripe of your pajamas and back. So your arms are straight and you're sliding forward off the stripe and you're sliding back with your body. So it's not the elbow, it's your body that slides forward and back. How comfortable is it for you to slide off the stripe? You're kind of falling off the stripe gently, or actually I won't use the word falling, you're rolling off the stripe and you're coming back to the stripe. How long is that stripe? Can you feel the stripe going all the way down towards your hip? Can you feel that your hip is part of the stripe? Can you allow your upper knee to move forward over the lower knee and create a stripe from shoulder all the way down to your tailbone? Your whole torso is one long stripe. You always come back to the stripe. You come back to the side. As you allow the hand and the knee, maybe your nose is rolling down towards the floor as well. And the stripe is now from the top of your head all the way down. All the way from the tailbone to the top of the head. And rest in the middle. And the next thing we're going to do, we're going to shorten the upper arm and we're going to bring it backwards. We're going to slide it backwards. So now we're going to roll the stripe back. Remember, we're not bending at the elbow. The arm is long and it slides away from the other palm, and your nose is turning up towards the ceiling and your upper knee is moving closer towards your body, and you're rolling off the stripe backwards. And then you come back onto the stripe. If you're a color person, give the stripe color. Give it a shape. Give it a texture. Feel the ribs rolling backwards. Feel the back of your head rolling backwards. Feel your eyes moving. Feel your tailbone. And if you feel comfortable with the rolling back, the next time that you come onto the stripe, roll forward. So now you're going from the stripe that you were laying on to a stripe in front of it and a stripe behind it. So now you're covering 3 stripes in your pajamas. And start making variations on the theme. Maybe your upper hand can roll in When you go backwards and roll up, when you come forward, start finding variations on the theme and see which one works best. Can you make the shoulders soft? So the rolling over is smooth and gentle. And when you get to the middle, roll to your back and lie down on your backs. And go back to the midline and do a checklist. Is your nose on the midline? Is it to the right? Is it to the left? Is your belly button on the midline? Is it right? Is it to the left? What's the distance of your right leg from the midline? What's the distance of the left leg from the midline? Has anything changed? And please roll back to the same side that you were on and bend your knees and put one hand on top of the other. And take your upper arm and bring it straight up towards the ceiling. So it's vertical, coming out of your shoulder. Roll that hand around its own axis. So you do a rotation. So one time the palm is turning one way, and then the palm is turning another way. Find out the range of the rotation. And the next time when you rotate the palm, so the hand is looking behind you, lengthen your arm out of the shoulder. And when you rotate your hand and it comes to the front of your body, shorten your shoulder. Not the elbow. The elbow does not bend. When you rotate the palm backwards, your shoulder rolls up and in. And when you rotate the hand looking forward, your shoulder blade is going down and your shoulder is kind of going backwards. Again, as you rotate the arm, the hand, the palm of the hand is looking backwards to behind you, the shoulder is lifted, and when the palm is looking forward, the shoulder is shortened. So the movement is in the scapula, in the shoulder blade, not in the elbow. You rotate the arm and the forearm and the hand as the shoulder rotates in and comes higher, and you shorten it as you rotate the palm and the hand and the forearm. And as you're doing it, notice if it affects the ribs on the opposite side. Does it make your rib come up and down a little bit off the floor? And rest your arm, arm on top of arm, and just a couple of times roll off the stripe backwards, and roll off the stripe forward. And one more time, roll the stripe backward, and roll off the stripe forward, and come back onto the stripe, hand on top of hand, knee on top of knee. Lift your arm back up to where it was vertically. And now as your hand goes back, your shoulder will go backwards. And as your palm goes forward, your shoulder will go up. So we're doing it opposite of what we did before. As your palm goes behind your back, your shoulder will shorten. Your scapula will get closer to the spine. And as your palm goes forward, your shoulder will come away and shorten. Try not to work with the elbow, but to work from your shoulder blade, from the scapula. The arm is as vertical as you can. It also is easiest if the arm is vertical. There's less weight. It's aligned with the body. So when the palm is forward, the shoulder is out, up, and the ribs on the bottom is away from the floor. When the palm turns behind the body, your shoulder blades will come closer to the ribs and closer to the spine. How much movement you have with the scapula will vary. And rest the palm, put it on top of the other hand. Rest on the side for a minute. Slide forward from the stripe. Slide onto the stripe. Slide backwards, away from the stripe, and back onto the stripe. Slide the top arm forward as far as you can, so you're rolling off the stripe. Allow the knee to go forward on top of the other knee. When you cannot go any further, start lifting your arm up in a big arc, up towards the ceiling. Look at the hand and start rolling off the stripe with the arm. And don't take the arm any further than you roll the stripe. And then bring the arm together as you bring the stripe. And bring the arm down. Slide the hand far forward, slide the knee far forward. Lift the arm up towards the ceiling. Get up on your stripe and roll off the stripe with the arm just as far as you can go with the stripe. And then come back up onto the stripe and bring the arm down, resting on your hand. And slide the hand far forward on the floor. And lift the arm up, big arc. Get onto your stripe. Make sure that you know what the stripe is. Stay on the stripe. And now bring the arm backwards, staying on the stripe. The hip stays on the stripe. The ribs stay on the stripe. Only the arm and the head are allowed to roll and roll and roll down towards the floor behind you. When you get wherever you get, stay there for a minute. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale again. Bring one knee over the other. Lift the ribs. Lift your pelvis. And bring your arm up, back, vertically up towards the ceiling. And down, hand on top of hand. And again, slide the hand far on the floor. Lift the arm until you're aligned and you're laying on your stripe from ear to shoulder to hip. Keep the stripe nice and steady and allow the arm and the eyes to go backwards. Take your time. Keep on breathing. Don't go beyond where you can. Control the movement and start coming back with ease. There's no competition. You don't need to get anywhere specific. Once you get to where you're comfortable, just stay there and breathe for a minute. Make sure that one knee is on top of the other, that your one hip is on top of the other, you're on your stripe. And now keep the arm back there and just roll the eyes to try and look at the thumb. And bring your head and the eyes to where you were, to where you were. And again, try to bring your eyes back towards your thumb. And relax the eyes and the head. And one more time, bring the eyes towards the thumb. And relax the eyes and the head. And lift yourself up back to the stripe. Bring the arm up and lower the arm one on top of the other. Roll backwards to the back stripe. Roll forward to the forward stripe. Roll backwards to the back stripe. Arm on top of arm in the front, it's just on the stripe. Roll on the stripe, forward and back. And now roll all the way to the back and lie down flat on your back. Bring into your mind's eye the midline. And a quick check. Where is your nose? Where is your belly button? What is the distance between your right leg and the left leg from the midline? And go ahead and roll to the other side. Find your stripe. And start moving the upper arm over the lower arm. And right from the beginning, allow the knee to roll over the other knee. And see if you can create the stripe on that side a little faster than we did on the other side. Your brain already have the image of the stripe, the width of the stripe that you're laying on. What does it take to roll forward off that stripe? And let's introduce also maybe rolling backwards a little bit off the stripe. How is this side different from the other side? Is rolling forward maybe a little clearer than rolling back? Or maybe rolling back is a little bit clearer than rolling forward? Or is this side is completely unclear, or maybe clearer? What do you have to do in your mind's eye to bring awareness and a clear pathway for the movement to occur? What stands in your way? So knee rolls over knee, hands rolls over hands, and then it comes back on top, and then it shortens and it goes in the opposite direction. So you're rolling over your ribs, hand over hand, knee over knee, and you're rolling backwards on your ribs, hand over hand. We're not moving backwards at all. We are right on the side of the ribs, rolling on the ribs forward and back. And the next time, come onto the ribs and lift the upper arm up towards the ceiling, so it's vertical, and start rotating from the shoulder through the arm, through the forearm, into the wrist and the hand. Vertically, you're just rotating, finding the rotation in this arm. How much is the shoulder moving? Can you feel the scapula, the shoulder blades moving with it? And now as your palm is looking behind you, shorten and bring your scapula closer to the spine. And as you rotate and the palm is looking forward, move the shoulder up, and maybe the ribs underneath you move a little bit off the floor. As the palm goes back, your shoulder blade goes closer to the spine, and the palm goes forward, the shoulder blade comes away from the spine. And for many of us, the shoulder blade is a flat bone that just sits still and doesn't even know that it can move. So we're trying to find that gliding motion that the shoulder blade has. It has muscles underneath it, above it, on the side of it, and it actually has movement. We just have to find it. And rest your arm on top of the other arm. Just take a minute to rest. And then next time that we're going to bring the arm up, we're going to do the opposite. So go ahead and bring your arm up. And now as your palms goes forward, pull the shoulder blade away from the spine. And as you bring the palms back, bring the shoulder blade into the spine. So we're doing the opposite of what we did before. And if you start getting tired with your shoulder blade and the arms, start paying attention to the ribs underneath and how it moves up and down. Take your attention from the shoulder on the neck. And go ahead and lower the arm down and rest for a minute. Go ahead and slide forward on the stripe and back, roll back away from the stripe and roll forward to the next stripe. So we're covering 3 stripes. The one we're laying on, one in front of it and one behind it. How wide is your stripe? Is the stripe in the center as wide as the stripe that's in the front? As wide as the stripe in the back? Do they have different widths? And go back to the stripe in the middle. And now lengthen your arm and allow the knee to lengthen forward as far as you can. Lift the arm. Come up on top of the stripe. And now glide to the back stripe with the arm intact. And come back up and bring your hand down on top of the other hand. And slide forward with the knee and the hand as far as you can to the forward stripe. Lift the hand as far as you can. Get on top of the stripe, the middle stripe, and now as you go back, the arm stays together with a rolling to the next stripe. Don't take the arm further beyond what the stripe is. And come back up on top of the stripe and bring your hand back down. And slide the hand and the knee far forward. Lift the arm up, find the stripe so the arm is just aligned with the stripe. Roll behind the stripe. And come back up to the stripe and bring your hand down. And just one more time, we're going to slide the hand and the knee forward to the forward stripe. We're going to come up. We're going to lie down directly above the stripe. And we're going to go into the back stripe with the arm. aligned with the back. And we're going to come back up to the stripe, and we're going to come with the arm down. And we're going to rest. Roll a little bit forward, roll a little bit back, going from the stripe, back stripe to the forward stripe, covering up wrist wraps. Going from side to side from this and back to the middle stripe, knee on top of knee, hand on top of hand. Lengthen the upper arm forward, lift your arm up, and take your arm back with the head as far as it's comfortable. Breathe. And when you're ready, come back onto the stripe, starting with your pelvis, your lower back, your upper back, your shoulder, and bring your arm down. And again, lengthen your arm forward, lift your arm up, roll the arm back, roll the head back, get as far as you're comfortable. Turn your eyes on the head to look at the thumb, relax the eyes on the head. Move the eyes on the head to look at the thumb. Relax the eyes and the head. Move the eyes and the head to look at the thumb. Relax the eyes and the head. Move the eyes and the head to look at the thumb. Relax the eyes and the head. Keep on breathing. And when you feel ready, come back on the stripe, starting with your pelvis, your waist, your lower back, your ribs, your shoulder, and bring your arm on top of the other arm and roll to the back. Roll to your backs with your legs straight. And for the last time, bring the midline image into your awareness. Where is your nose? Where's your belly button? And how far are your heels from the midline? Take a minute, and when you're ready, roll to the side, and from the side to sitting, and then standing.